Music is everywhere. You hear it in nature, through your radio, and even in the rhythmic loud beeping and honking in a big city. With all that noise, it can become stressful and feel like you don't even matter or that your voice isn't heard. With proper training, you can learn to care for your voice, gain more confidence, becoming a part of the music in a chaotic world. I'm Ellie, and this is my senior project. This is me, but this is also me. And this is me too. People know me as a lot of things: a baker, a chef, a DM for my friends in D&D. But one thing that most people know about me is that I am a performer. Whether it's through singing or acting, being able to get up in front of an audience and give the audience something that gives them a feeling, an emotion, is one of the best things for me. And so, for my senior project, I gave 3 people voice lessons. There were approximately 7.1 trillion songs played in 2023. Now, obviously, that couldn't have all been me, because if each of those songs was just a second, that would have been about 225,000 years. Music is well loved all over the world, and everyone uses it. It's a part of our culture and everyday life. So, my project, I gave voice lessons to 3 of my friends, using my own experience from having voice lessons in 6th grade. And here they are. We have Lacey. I met her in 8th grade, although I'm pretty sure neither of us remember meeting. She's a fan of Pokemon and Boba and video games and D&D with our group. In the middle is Sydney. She just graduated last year and spent her first year at college. And she had a voice lessons class. And she was excited to take them from me. And then on the left, we had Lydia. Lydia did band for a couple years in middle school and 1 in high school. But since then, she hasn't been doing much music other than her word choir. And so she mostly hadn't done a lot of vocal stuff. So I gave them lessons, and it was a lot of fun. They each got 2 songs. Lacey did Poor Unfortunate Souls and In the Dark of Midnight. Poor Unfortunate Souls is your typical villain song from The Little Mermaid. And In the Dark of Midnight is a beautiful piece about a feeling that something is calling you home and you need to go there. And then Sydney did In My Own Little Corner and Count the Stars. In My Own Little Corner is from Cinderella, and it's her talking about how she's all quiet, but when she's in her own little corner, she can create all these wondrous worlds to explore without anyone being mean to her or getting in her way. And then Count the Stars is a love song. I will count the stars for you you deserve eternal rest in love and happiness. And then Lydia did Once Upon a December from Anastasia and Danny Boy, a common folk song. Once Upon a December is a dream of a memory of something you once had, and Danny Boy is a song about someone coming once their loved one has passed. We had lessons at my house. Each of them got 5 lessons, so 5 hours for each of them, where we worked on the vocal technique, learning the pieces, and staging. In the middle, you see Sydney with her own little chair, as in the song, in my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be. And then we had my music stand out, and I would play for them on the piano, and we'd work them into their accompaniments. And then at the end, we had a mini concert where they each did their pieces in front of us without any assistance from me, and they decided to drag me into singing too. And we did warm-ups before, and everything was great. It was fun, and we had cupcakes at the end. And 2 of my friends, Sydney and Lydia, have decided to keep doing voice lessons for me, as well as Lydia's brothers also being interested in it. And this moves on to my essay. For my essay, this was my thesis. Through an understanding of one's own voice, proper training, and technique, vocal lessons can help improve vocal health, confidence, and solo performance skills. It was a lot of fun to research. I dove into some databases of essays and articles about vocal health, which got me down some rabbit holes. But one that I will be talking about later that I deeply enjoyed was the difference in voice types. But for my 3 body paragraphs, I separated it into these 3 subtopics. Understanding one's own voice and vocal part can help improve the confidence of a performer. Through proper vocal training, a performer can gain more solo performance skills, which can lead to higher confidence when performing. And through learning proper techniques, a vocalist can take better care of their vocal health, whether for singing or speaking. So, one thing that I really dove into was confidence. And I got this quote from a vocal teacher, an online vocal teacher, who posts videos on YouTube. And she said, confidence is the ability to completely trust in your skills so that you can get that focus off of you and focus it more on your audience. Which is something that I understand a lot with my performances, because when I'm not focusing on me, I always have a better performance, I feel better, and I can see more reactions in the audience. So these are the 4 choral vocal types. Soprano, which is the top female. Alto, which is between. Tenor, which is the top male. And then bass, which is the bottom. But for solo performances, that's not really right. Well, kind of. With solo performances, there are more parts, and alto doesn't even exist. Alto is typically what you call a mezzo or a contralto, which I'll get into later. But with solo vocal, there is the soprano. They're often described as like shimmering, shining, almost bell-like tone, who often play romantic heroines, queens, princesses, and angels. And then there's the mezzo-sopranos, which I am one of. They have a dark, fiery voice that's smooth and almost chocolatey. They usually play older women, queens, mothers, or sometimes witches. Also sometimes called pants roles if they play a young man in an opera. Next is the contralto, with heavy and strong tone. It's really deep. This is what most people consider an alto. It's a contra alto. They play mothers, grandmothers, nuns, priestesses, or sometimes military generals in operas. And then we have the belter. This isn't necessarily a vocal type, but it's a style that is often used by mezzos and contraltos, where they push their lower range higher than it's supposed to go naturally. One of the best examples of this is Idina Menzel, who played Elphaba in the original Wicked, or Elsa in Frozen. And then next we have the tenor. Tenors are bright and dazzling with clear, ringing tones, who often play leading men, romantic heroes, princes, knights, soldiers. One big difference with tenors is it's not a young boy. They need to have the rich tone of an older person. And then I'm going to skip a few. But solo performance is very important to learn from a vocal coach. And you skip. Some of the worst things for voice is yelling, whispering, which might be surprising, and then of course singing improperly. With that, it could cause irreversible damage such as vocal polyps that can make it hard to speak, cause a rasping sound. And then, thank you. With all the music in the world, it's important to bring your voice through it. Thank you.